Introducing GForceTV. GForceTV.net is your new source for action overload. Featuring free live programming year-round and countless hours of on-demand video, GForceTV will be your first stop whenever you want to see the latest and hottest racing action. See live Friday Night Excitement weekly from Washougal Speedway, and watch the stars of tomorrow make a name for themselves during Thursday night's live microsprint racing. GForceTV is also the new home for Rivals Race Chat. Watch weekly as Clinton Jeffrey and Adam Ross discuss all the hot topics in the world of motorsports. For iRacing fans, GForceTV has you covered with hours of live broadcasting from Rivals and GForceTV racing leagues. GForceTV promises to deliver motorsports, esports, and action sports you want to see, along with talk shows and vlogs to keep you connected to the lifestyle you love. Visit GForceTV.net today to subscribe for free. Sit back, hold on, and feel the G's on GForceTV.
Good evening, everybody. It is Thursday night, and that means it's time for some thunder. Tonight, the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds roll into the Eldora Speedway for a night of high-speed action and excitement, and it's all right here live with the GeForce Racing Leagues on GeForce TV and GeForce Esports. Hi, everybody. I'm Sean Neisted, and Scotty DeYoung will be along here in just a little bit as we get you set for tonight's racing action, and we'll line it all up with the Gambler Motorsports pre-race show as we do each and every Thursday night thunder. Of course, Gambler Motorsports, you can look them up on Facebook. Give them a follow on Facebook as well. They're an esports racing team. They compete all over iRacing. If you're into dirt racing, so's Gambler Motorsports. Sports cars? Yep. Asphalt racing? You bet. They're even in endurance races like the 24 Hours of Daytona and in Le Mans. That's Gambler Motorsports getting us set for tonight's pre-race show, and they'll get us lined up for all of tonight's action as see a couple cars starting to make their way back onto the racetrack with the drivers' meeting concluding down there on the infield. iRacingLeagueManager.com. That's where you need to go if you manage or run any kind of iRacing league. iRacing League Manager will make it easier for you. Yeah, it can be easier than what you're doing, all those hours you're spending on iRacing, doing all that race management stuff. Let iRacing League Manager do it for you. Find out how at iRacingLeagueManager.com. iRacing League Manager brings us a look at the point standings for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds coming into tonight's program. And Justin Sick remains the man up top here tonight. He's currently fifth out there in practice time in the 15S machine, but he's number one in the point standings. Has a pretty nice lead right now over Kyle Parker in that 013 machine. Francis Bam Bam Major, he sits number 3 in the point standings with Nicholas Vickery and Jeffrey Barker completing the top 5. AJ Abreda, Steve Shaw, Aiden Young, John Hine, and GJ Boydell complete the top 10 in the points of these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds. You can see the entire point standings, of course, by going to GForceRL.com. In fact, that's true for all of the GeForce Racing Leagues. All of the divisions are all caught up over there. Just click on the points tab. Mentioned Kyle Parker coming into tonight, number 2 in the point standings behind Justin Sick. Parker coming off the win last week at Limaland Motorsports Park, his second feature event of the season with these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds, where he's gone to victory lane. Of course, AJ Abreda also has 2 feature wins this season. Kevin Fry has a feature win, and our points leader, Justin Sick, with a feature win coming into week number 7 action here tonight at Eldora. Next week, we're off to the Williams Grove Speedway. That is going to be a technical race for a lot of these drivers. I expect a lot of excitement next Thursday night, part of the Thunder action here on GeForce TV and GeForce Esports. Make sure to tune in with us next Thursday night from Williams Grove. See the cars making their final minutes of practice out here on the racetrack. Looks like we'll be heading into qualifications. In fact, right now, checker flag is out on practice. The driver is getting summoned to the infield, and we will be set to go for qualifying action here tonight, which is, of course, brought to us by VMR Wraps. VNR Wraps, they're looking to fulfill all of your iRacing paint needs. Their company's made up of several painters across the U.S. That allows them to specialize in multiple paint styles across all car types. If you're looking to get a new paint, check them out on Facebook. That's VMR Wraps, bringing you qualifying action for these big block modifieds here at the Eldora Speedway. Should be a great night of racing action. If the 358s were any indication here just a little bit ago, we are in for a major treat here tonight at Eldora, because that was a last lap pass. We'll talk more about that here in just a moment. As you see, time starting to come in. Right now, Tom Gom, top of the charts with his 16:49. He's got the best lap thus far, as 16:491. Steve Shaw Sr. sits number 2 as just 0.08 of a second off of Gom's time. Jeffrey Barker, number 3. Patrick Maltese, Kyle Parker, right now the top 5 in the time standings here thus far for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds in VMR Wraps qualifying here tonight. As times continue to come in here, you can see them on the bottom of the screen, side of the screen, top of the screen, all sorts of info coming your way here. Gom, 16:491. Shaw, 16:577. Barker, 16:600. Bam Bam Francis Major up into the 4th spot, 16:604. And Patrick Maltese now rounding out your top 5 at 16:619. As continue to see the laps come in. Looks like Zach Chapman out there yet to get a time, and maybe 16:80 for Chapman. That's 14th quick for him, as he'll continue to make his way around the speedway. Qualifying important. We'll line up the starting grid for our heat races with an invert of 4 out of these heats all night long, and that'll help get us all set all evening long. Looks like we've got about 20 entries here tonight for these Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modified, so everybody gets to participate in the big show here tonight. Was starting to talk in a little bit ago here about the 358 feature event that ended just before we went on air here for these big blocks, and Connor Ross got the victory in that one. But wow, was that a feature event. He and Steven Goldner trading slide jobs there with about 10 to go, and on the last lap, Goldner threw a big old haymaker of a slider at Connor Ross, and in turn 4, Connor drove back underneath Goldner and went on to the win. Tom Taylor, he gained a bunch of spots, finished 3rd. Chris Whipple was 4th, and Zach Chapman 5th earlier tonight in the 358 event from the Eldora Speedway. So it looks like qualifications into the books from VMR Wraps. We'll take a look here at the results real quickly on your screen. You can see Tom Gom up there at the top of the charts. 16:491. Steve Shaw Sr. just behind him. Jeffrey Barker, Francis Major, Patrick Maltese, the top 5. Kyle Parker, Justin Sick, Troy Stewart, John Hine, Steven Spees, top 10 in points, or top 10 in qualifying times here tonight. And that, of course, was brought to us by VMR Wraps. Set to go, your first heat race. Lining up in the staging area, it has Steven Spees on the pole position in the 55 machine. Your points leader next to him, that is Justin Sick. He drives the Firm Motorsports car number 15S. Row number 2 on the inside, it's Francis Major, the number 25 machine from Quebec. Tom Gom, your quick timer here tonight in the 32. He'll start 4th on the grid. And row number 3, that's Nicholas Vickery, the 00 inside. Donald Dory, car number 12, will line up on the outside. 6 cars, 8 laps is the distance. Top 4 avoid the consolation action tonight. They'll get their starting spots for the main based off of these heat races. Just about set for that green. 1 lap to go. before we get the first green flag of this Thursday Night Thunder action. Francis Major on that pole position. 25 machine. Looks like Steven Spees going to start at the tail of this one in that Gambler Motorsports 55. This is your A&J Custom Creations heat race number 1. At A&J Custom Creations, they specialize in laser engraving and CNC machining. A&J always puts craftsmanship into the work they do, whether it's a wood trophy or a plaque. A&J provides trophies for all of the GeForce Racing League Division champions. Andy Patton, we thank you for your support of the GeForce Racing Leagues. Heat race number 1 is green, and we'll head them on down in turn number 1. Francis Major through the middle, Justin Sick on the high line, and then on the bottom, that's Nicholas Vickery in the 00. Still a lot of moisture in this racetrack, but we will see that change mightily as we work through this Thursday night Thunder Racing action. Justin Sick, he's got the nose out front, but here comes Major to his outside, and now Francis Major takes the race lead in the 25 machine, or does he? Justin Sick battling back on the inside. Winner of this one going to earn the pole position in tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps A feature event, so a lot on the line in this one. Right now, Tom Gom, quick timer, he has the final transfer spot, but trying to chase him down is Steven Spees in the 55 machine. We race side by side for position number 2. Nicholas Vickery going to take over that spot in the Spartan Racing 00, and now he starts to think about how to work over Francis Major for the race lead. Stair-stepping him 3 wide, and now Steven Spees getting into the mix, potentially to battle for that transfer spot as Tom Gom closes in on the top 3. Things getting exciting here now with 3 laps to go. We'll have to keep an eye on everybody here in this top 5 and how it's going to shake out. Francis Major starting to pull out just a little bit on this one, out to 4/10 over Nicholas Vickery, but then it's Sick, Gom, and Spees 2 by 2 off of turn number 4. Now 2 laps to go in this one. The 55, Steven Spees dive into the bottom, can't make it work. Gom holds on to the final transfer spot for the moment at least into turn 3. Field working themselves towards the white flag. The 15 of Justin Sick going to dive to the bottom of Nicholas Vickery as they go to turn number 1. That's the race for the second spot. Vickery going to hold on to it for the moment. Here comes Gom to the outside. He's got a run on Justin Sick and going to try to push him back. The 55 of Spees, he's hoping to find a ticket to the A main. He's not going to find it. Checkered flag flies, and heat race number 1 into the books. Francis Major going to pick up that one, but right behind him, holy moly, that was a close one. Great racing action here in our A&J Custom Creations heat race number 1. We'll take a look at your official results here as Francis Major picks up the victory by 4/10 over Nicholas Vickery. Justin Sick and Tom Gom, look how close they were, separated by 1/3 of a 10th of a second at the line. And Steven Spees just outside of a transfer spot with Donald Dory in position number 6. Heat race number 2 is brought to us by Howard Hanna Real Estate, and it has Connor Ross on the inside of the front row. That is the number 35 machine, fresh off the victory in the 358s earlier. Troy Stewart next to him in the 117. Patrick Maltese, he'll line up on the inside of the second row, the 143, with Steve Shaw Sr. outside of him in the number 54 ride. Zach Chapman inside the third row, the 72, with G.J. Boydell outside in the number 14. And from the back, the other number 14, that's Tom Taylor, the SBGC 3D printing entry. So that is your starting grid for our second heat race of the night as the field will make their way around the Eldora Speedway. Howard Hanna Real Estate brings you this one. Howard Hanna is the number 1 family-operated independent broker in the United States. And Scott Hurwitz, he's our good friend over at Howard Hanna Real Estate. He's a multi-million-dollar commercial and residential real estate agent. Why is that important? Well, that's because he knows how to ask the right questions to get the best house for the right price. And if you're not in Scott's area, he will find the professional realtor who's just like him to ask those best questions to get you the best house. That's Scott Hurwitz at Howard Hanna Real Estate. And we are green on their heat race number 2. Rushing them on down into turn number 1. It is Connor Ross out to the early one on this one. Troy Stewart, the 117, works right there with him. Side by side behind him, the 72 of Zach Chapman, the 54 of Shaw. We go 3 wide off of turn number 4, and we head back down into turn number 1. Still thinking about 3 wide action. No, the 54 of Steve Shaw gets a little tap from behind and loops around the Mike's Delivery entry down there in turns 1 and 2, and he's going to come from consolation action. Meanwhile, it is Connor Ross out front, and I think I hear him. I think he's here. Scotty, are you here? Yeah, maybe not quite yet. He's almost here. Scotty DeYoung making his way in here after a long day of work, and right now, Connor Ross, he's doing the work. The number 35 machine has the lead by about a third of a second over the 117 of Troy Stewart. Zach Chapman running in the 3rd spot, or is he? Here comes Chapman. He's still got 3rd. Maltese in the 4th spot. It's a little wild as Steve Shaw in the mix as well, but not on the same lap. So Chapman runs in 3rd. Now Tom Taylor from the last starting spot around the outside, and he will grab the final transfer spot in that number 14 machine, putting the 143 of Maltese back out of a transfer position. Good run earlier. Taylor finished 3rd in the 358 feature event, but Maltese not done yet. The 143 working back to the inside of Taylor. Can't quite get there. Taylor gets into the concrete getting into turn 3, and Maltese back into a transfer spot with just 2 laps to go, and our Howard Hanna Real Estate Heat Race number 2. Maltese slider getting into turn number 1. Tom Taylor going to have to figure out how can he get around the 143 of Maltese to get a direct ticket to the main event here tonight. Meanwhile, Connor Ross, maybe a speeding ticket. He's off and gone into turn 3 for the final time. Stewart giving chase. They'll come to the checkered flag, and Connor Ross is going to pick up the win. Coming to the line for 3rd will be Chapman for the final transfer spot. Give it to Maltese. So some more action here in heat race number 2, our Howard Hanna Real Estate Heat Race. And, well, out front, no doubt about it, Connor Ross picked up the victory about that one and kind of set sail on the rest of the field. And coming with him was that 117 of Troy Stewart. And after that, it was wild. Zach Chapman goes 3rd, and Patrick Maltese, he'll go to the main event directly from the heat race. Tom Taylor, he was 5th. G.J. Boydell, 6th. And Steve Shaw, Sr., had a little trouble there early on in the race. He'll place in the 7th spot. Starting lineup for heat race number 3 has Steven Bixler on the pole position. That's the number 75 machine. John Hine next to him in car number 71. Row 2, it's Kyle Parker, a 2-time winner on the series this season in the 13 machine. Jeffrey Barker next to him in car number 513. Jeffrey Kemper inside the 3rd row, the 181. Andrew Smith next to him in the 79. Brandon Sauls from the tail in the 877. Scheduled to start there anyhow. Has not made the call as of yet. So we are set to go for our 3rd heat race of the night. Another 8 laps around the speedway. Top 4 go to the main event from our Coast to Coast Sim Racing Team heat race. Coast to Coast Sim Racing Team, they feature drivers from coast to coast in the U.S. and Canada, and they're happy to be part of these GeForce Racing Leagues. They've been part of GeForce since day number 1. Field will make their way towards the starting line at the exit of turn number 4. Looks like Kyle Parker going to have to do this one from the back. As we await the green, we've got it. We are underway here in our Coast to Coast Racing Team Heat Race number 3. John Hine, he needs some good luck. He's got the 71 machine out front. Steven Bixler in that 2nd spot. Side by side for 3rd, Jeffrey Barker on the top. Jeffrey Kemper all over him. Kemper going to go down to the bottom. We'll see if Andrew Smith gets the run on the high line. He does. Then gets the car loose, makes a little contact, and Smith going to lose a bunch of ground. Now Kyle Parker, he capitalizes. The 13 machine up to that 4th and final transfer spot. Here comes Kemper back to his inside. Can't get there. The 13 of Kyle Parker from the tail up to 3rd already on the grid as they'll make their way down the back straightaway and into number 3. off of turn number 4. Kyle Parker starting to build some momentum and closing in now on Jeffrey Barker for that third spot. Parker right next to the concrete, not afraid of it. He's got to run around the outside from the back, runs up to the third spot. So Kyle Parker, number 2 in the points, 2-time feature winner, started last, runs third. Steven Bixler runs in position number 2. He is just in front of the 13 of Parker. Here's a look back from Bixler at the 13 of Kyle Parker, closing in a hurry as they got to turn number 3. Now the 0-1-3 of Kyle Parker dives to the bottom, can't make the move off of turn 4, gets back in line. 3 laps to go in this one. It's all John Hine out front. Nearly 9/10 of a second the lead, but the battle is for position 2. Oh, trouble! And that's going to change everything. The 75 of Steven Bixler got into the outside wall, and now Kyle Parker's up to that second spot. From the tail up to second, Kyle Parker on a mission. He's got a second between him and John Hine. Hine off of turn number 4 says, that's all right, I see the white flag. Final time down into turn number 1 for the Cruise Shop number 71 machine. He'll sail it down the back straightaway and head to turn number 3, the Epsilon Sprint Wraps entry off of the 4th turn. And John Hine going to look at checkered as your winner. Kyle Parker second, Jeffrey Barker third, and Jeffrey Kemper will get that final transfer spot. So another exciting one here in our third heat race, the Coast to Coast Sim Racing heat race. And let's take a look at your official finish on that one. From heat race number 3, the win going to John Hine. Kyle Parker second, Jeffrey Barker and Jeffrey Kemper go third and fourth. Andrew Smith, Steven Bixler, 5th and 6th. That brings us to tonight's SBGC 3D Printing B feature event. And we'll take a look at the starting grid. Steven Spees on the pole position in the 55. Tom Taylor next to him in row number 1. Tom drives the number 14. Andrew Smith in the 79 and Donald Dory side by side in row number 2. Dory driving car number 12. Third row is the 014. That's GJ Boydell on the inside. To the outside, the 75 of Steven Bixler. Fourth and final row, 54. Steve Shaw Sr. inside. And Brandon Sauls scheduled to start on the outside in the 877. Looks like Sauls will not make the call. So we'll go 7 cars, 10 times around. Everybody makes the dance here tonight, but this is for those all-important starting spots for tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps A feature event. This is your SBGC 3D Printing B main, brought to us by SBGC 3D Printing, where they're committed to bringing cutting-edge 3D printing technology to everybody who has an idea that needs to be manufactured. They use 3D CAD programs. They'll work with you to create your invention or your creative project. Look them up on Facebook, SBGC 3D Printing, bringing you this B main. Steven Spees sets the pace, the man behind SBGC 3D Printing, 14 of Tom Taylor. Outside of that front row, we are green 10 times around on this SBGC 3D Printing B main. Spees immediately out to the lead. Andrew Smith, Tom Taylor side by side for position number 2 with GJ Boydell and company. Nearly 3 wide behind them for the spot. Eldora gets good as the track continues to wear in here. It's going to get better and better. Oh, contact there. Donald Dory in the 12 machine. Got a little contact. He got turned around in the 12 right. He now falls to the 7th spot. He'll gather it up and continue on. And if anyone else has some troubles, he'll gain another starting spot in tonight's main event. 8 laps to go. Steven Spees out front by 1 second now over Tom Taylor in the number 14. Andrew Smith running in 3rd. GJ Boydell 4th. Steven Bixler 5th. And Steve Shaw Sr. closing in now on Bixler for that spot. Shaw with the run down the back straightaway. The 54 machine, we saw him have some tough luck in his heat race. He'll work to the inside of Steven Bixler for position number 5. Bixler too strong on the top line and continues to hold the top 5 spot in this SBGC 3D Printing B main event. As your leader, Steven Spees, is going to work to the halfway point, this time by the flag stand. 5 in and 5 laps to go. Still a good battle for the 5th spot. Steven Shaw Sr. and the 75 of Steven Bixler. Bixler gets a little concrete on the back straightaway. He's going to give up that spot. And now Shaw into the 5th spot. Bixler gets the concrete once again, and now he's going to dip to the bottom of turn number 4 and get away from that evil, evil concrete monster on the top of the racetrack. Even Spees out front. He has set sail on this one by 2 1/4 seconds over Tom Taylor. Tom Taylor doing a nice job just kind of keeping a bubble around him as Andrew Smith is about 6 car lengths behind him, running in 3rd. G.J. Boydell still 4th. Shaw, Bixler, Dory, your running order as Steven Spees goes by the flag stand. 2 laps to go, 1 mile remaining in the SBGC 3D printing B main event. Spees, 1.5 laps to go. Get this car looking good. His best lap was a 16:49. Next best lap was a 16:07. So Spees laying it down on the field in this B main event. And he's got 1 last trip down the back straightaway and then 2 left-hand turns to negotiate. And he will make his way off of turn number 4. Steven Spees going to punch the ticket to the A main tonight. The Gambler Motorsports 55 picking up the win in the SBGC 3D printing B feature event. Checkered flag waving on our final qualifying event of the night as it officially goes into the books. And the drivers now and the crews, they're going to go to work to get these cars ready to go for the main event, which is just a few minutes around the corner. A quick look at our results from the SBGC 3D printing B feature event. Spees, Taylor, Smith, Boydell, and Shaw, the top 5, followed by Bixler and Dory. Cars hustling onto the racetrack. They've got a couple minutes of practice out here on the speedway. That gives us a chance to step aside. Get set for that main event. It's right around the corner. It's the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds, and you don't want to miss 1 lap of the action. It comes your way right after these messages.
It all starts with the right house. That's where we come in. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
People want to have a one-stop shop. They need us for now all these different services, not just the heating and air side.
When things are going wrong, you want the company that's going to be able to get things done as fast as possible for you.
Today we're going to be in over 600 homes. What the customers can count on is we're going to send a competent person to your home with a vehicle that's stocked and prepared. We're going to do what's right.
Right now, we're waiving our $79 service fee with any Cool-Ray, Brightbox, or Mr. Plumber service.
From finding the perfect house to making it your home, we'll be with you every step of the way. Howard Hanna. Home happens here.
Welcome back to the Eldora Speedway as it hosts Thursday Night Thunder with the Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modifieds, where we are less than 2 minutes away from the start of tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps a feature event. Icon Sim Sports, a big thank you to them for bringing us this warm-up session. Icon Sim Sports brings the entire iRacing world an opportunity to have a specifically built chassis for you. This is what you need when you're ready to take your iRacing rig to the next level. Icon Sim Sports replicates the look, feel, and design of a real race car. I cannot tell you how cool they are. Go to iconsimsports.com and take a look at their gallery there of all of the availabilities. I'm a sprint car guy. I go to Icon Sim Sports. I can tell them I want a dark red built sprint car chassis. Ryan Dugan, he's my producer tonight. He's a stock car guy. He's going to go to Icon Sim Sports, get himself a stock car chassis. That's what they do at Icon Sim Sports. They're all custom built for you. Of course, GeForce Racing Leagues, they've got more than 20 different divisions for you to choose from. If you're looking for a place to do some iRacing, GeForce RL will be the place to guide you to the right skill level and the divisions you like to compete in, from pavement racing to oval racing of all kinds, sprint cars, late models, modifieds, even jumpy trucks, as they call them. They've got a little bit of everything. GeForceRL.com to apply for a league today. Of course, tomorrow night, the VMR Wraps Pro Late Models will be in action here on GeForce Esports. You can tune in live, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, and see the Pro Late Models in their event tomorrow night. Joe White and the crew over at the OSRN, they'll have the call of the action. We'll be back around Monday Night Madness, with the SBGC 3D Printing Renegades, 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. And, of course, remember, Hometown Heroes Wednesdays, presented by Icon Sim Sports as well. It is now time for tonight's main event. 30 laps is the distance, and there is the starting lineup for tonight's A main. Starting on the pole position from Quebec, it's the number 25 of Bam Bam, Francis Major. Next to him, that's Connor Ross, the winner of the 358s in car number 35. Row 2, John Hine in the 71 on the inside. Outside, the 00 of Nicholas Vickery. Row number 3, Troy Stewart on the inside in the 117. And next to him is the 013 of Kyle Parker. Your fourth row on the inside. He's points leader and drives the 15S. That is Justin Sick. And lining up 8th on the grid, it is Zach Chapman in the 72. Going to row number 5 on the inside, the 513 of Jeffrey Barker. Outside of him will be the 32 of Tom Gom. Row number 6, Patrick Maltese, the 143 on the inside. Outside of him, that is Jeffrey Kemper in car number 181. Going to the 7th row on the inside, it'll be Steven Spees in car number 55. And alongside him, that is the number 14 of Tom Taylor. Row number 8, Andrew Smith on the inside in the 79 machine with G.J. Boydell outside in the one. Starting 17th, that's Steve Shaw Sr. in the 54. The 75 of Steven Bixler will start outside the 9th row. And row number 10 tonight, Donald Dory, the number 12, will be on the inside. Brandon Sauls, again, not going to make the call. I'm guessing he's doing some officiating tonight. That would be my hunch. That is your starting lineup for 30 laps around the Eldora Speedway in tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps A feature event. If you're looking to stand out from the competition, Epsilon Sprint Wraps creates tailor-made graphics and logos to fit your personal taste. Champions choose Epsilon Sprint Wraps. Here we go. Green flag set to fly over the speedway. Francis Major, Connor Ross bring us to it, and it is time to get it on with the big blocks at Eldora. Connor Ross to the top of the speedway. He was so good on the high line with the 358s earlier tonight. Major stuck in the middle. Here comes Nicholas Vickery around the outside. John Hine on the bottom. Hine grabs the second spot as Vickery grabs third. Nearly 4 wide getting into turn number 1 there as the 25 of Major going to settle in. Comes right across the nose of the 13 of Kyle Parker. Parker then gets a little bit of the concrete as he got into turn number 3. That allows the 15S of Justin Sick to advance on the bottom. And into the top 5 goes your points leader. Kyle Parker now trying to come back after him. Keep in mind, Kyle Parker number 2 in the point standings behind Sick entering tonight. Major also there in the top of the point standings. He's number 3. So 1, 2, and 3 in the points right now, racing each other on the speedway as the caution flag comes out over the racetrack for the first time in tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps main event, with Connor Ross continuing to show the way out front in the 35. With trouble over in turn number 4, caught up against the concrete on the bottom of the racetrack, and that puts us under the yellow in this Epsilon Sprint Wraps A feature event. Also looks like car heading pit side as well for some services. That was Jeffrey Kemper. Had sustained some damage, and he is down in the work area. Cool Rays Cooling, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They'll bring us our Hard Charger Award tonight, as they do for every GeForce Racing League event. Cool Rays' goal is to make sure that Ray's tradition of 100% customer satisfaction lives on today. Cool Ray is proud of that reputation of providing excellent service to homeowners and businesses all across Georgia. That's Cool Rays Cooling, Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical, bringing us the Hard Charger Award after tonight's event. When the checkered flag drops, we'll head down to the Epsilon Sprint Reps podium presentation and check in with our Cool Rays Hard Charger and the top 3 podium finishers here tonight. So stay tuned for that after the dust settles here at the Eldora Speedway. Caution flags and replays brought to us by Malcolm's Mills Millwrighting up there in Oakland, Ontario, Canada. Malcolm's Mills Millwrighting is a full-service millwrighting contractor. They feature custom welding, fabricating, and other services for their industrial clients. You can find them online at mmmillwrighting.com. Field gets doubled up here early on in this feature event. Connor Ross brings us back to the green. Nicholas Vickery flanking him to his right. They'll sort it out as they head down to turn number 1. John Hine diving to the bottom of the racetrack. Vickery through the middle. Now Hine and Vickery side by side for the second spot, as Major and Six side by side for the 4th spot. Now make that a 3-wide battle as Jeffrey Barker coming to call on the very inside of the speedway. 1, then 2 wide, then 3 wide, then 3 wide, then 2 wide. Oh my! Wow, what a lap, what a quarter that was for these drivers as we sail them in deep again down into turn number 3. Nicholas Vickery now into that second spot. John Hine in third, working the bottom of the speedway. Connor Ross has been on the top as they continue hot and heavy from Justin Sick, who is in 4th, back behind him for about 6 cars. Sick works the top. He's got the 013 of Kyle Parker right behind him. On the bottom, that's Jeffrey Barker in the 513 machine. Francis Major right behind them. And then B-Main, Steven Spees has gained 6 spots. He's up to the 7th position in that 55. So he's got that car dialed in right now. And coming through the field, already a contender for the Cool Rays Hard Charger Award, is Steven Spees, running in 7th. He's gained 6 spots, and all over the 13 of Kyle Parker. Parker going to go in on the top. Spees through the middle. On the bottom, he sees the 513 of Jeffrey Barker. Top 2, Connor Ross and Nicholas Vickery. They're playing a little runaway and hide here from this one. They're separated by a few car lengths as they go down the back street. As we go on board with Steven Spees in the 55 machine. Again, he runs in the 7th spot. You'll see the whole hornet's nest in front of him, as they're 4 wide in front of Steven Spees for a moment, and then a big drive off the top of the corner. Now 4 wide down the back straightaway again. Oh, my. This may be a new record for times drivers have gone 4 wide in a feature event, as now they just go the ho-hum 3 wide there off of turn number 4. Unbelievable. We're more than a third of the way into this one. 19 laps to go. And Steven Spees is picking it up and laying it down as he makes his way from the B-Main now into the top 5, working over points leader Justin Sick. Sick runs in 4th. He goes to the bottom of the racetrack. In front of them, Kyle Parker is now driven up to the 3rd spot after starting 6th here this evening. John Hine just got some concrete as he follows behind Spees down the back straightaway. Now they're over to turn number 4. Hine had made his way up there into a podium spot. Now he runs back in the 6th position with Jeffrey Barker in 7th and Francis Major in position number 8. Out front, Connor Ross trying to make it a repeat kind of night. He picked up the win in the 358s as the caution flag comes out over the speedway, and Francis Major with trouble out there on the track. And the driver that started towards the front of the field tonight, the 25 machine now crinkled up, and he's got some significant damage there on the Valiant Autosports number 25. So caution flag out for the second time in tonight's Epsilon Sprint Wraps Big Block Modified feature event. And oh boy, now what will we see on this restart? We have watched the 35 of Connor Ross go very strong here tonight, but keeping pace with him has been Nicholas Vickery in the 00. Vickery, number 4 in the point standings coming into tonight's program, so looking for a good run there in the double knot. Kyle Parker up to the 3rd spot, where he will restart. So it's Spartan Racing with Vickery in 2nd, Kyle Parker in 3rd. Then Justin Sick back there in the 4th spot. Steven Spies completing your top 5, representing Gambler Motorsports. All Connor Ross thus far in this main event. The Mohawk Northeast number 35 going to bring us back to the green flag. Nicholas Vickery next to him. We'll see if Vickery can hang with them on this start. Cannot down the front straightaway. And that's going to allow Ross to get right back to his preferred groove on the top of the speedway. 3 wide for 3rd, and they run out of room. Kyle Parker has that spot, and that's going to shuffle back a couple positions as here comes Steven Spies on the bottom of the racetrack, the 55, looking for the 2nd spot, nearly had it. Nicholas Vickery in position number 2. Here comes the 513 of Jeffrey Barker on the bottom. Where did he come from? Now he's up to the 4th spot, bumping Spies back to 5th, maybe 6th. No, John Hine into the outside wall. Turn number 4, and we'll see if that draws a yellow, as we had big trouble there for the 71 of John Hine. We remain green, so it looks like Hine has called it a night. Now we've got another car spinning around over in turn 2. Donald Dory trying to get it refired. We remain green, and Connor Ross says thank you very much because he's out to 3/4 of a second lead. Nicholas Vickery has his hands full of Kyle Parker. Parker going to dive to the bottom, dive to the middle here in turn 3. Can't quite make the pass just yet. Nicholas Vickery holds on to that spot on the top. They'll follow each other down into turn number 1 as they're side by side behind them. Steven Spies, Jeffrey Barker working opposite lines through 1 and 2. Now they go to 3 and 4 and do the same thing. Spies on the top, Barker on the bottom. That is the race for 4th and 5th. Behind them, Zach Chapman, Patrick Maltese, Justin Sick. Talked about him getting shuffled back a little bit. He's now in the 8th spot. Tom Gom and Andrew Smith completing your top 10 with 10 laps to go. Kyle Parker just threw the big slide job for the 2nd spot on Nicholas Vickery, and Parker has the position, but can he chase down 0.8 of a second to get to Connor Ross? Ross had to hold off Stephen Goldner earlier tonight in the 358 feature event. Goldner got to him, threw a big slider on the last lap. Ross was able to cross over and come back and get the win. Can he hold off Kyle Parker? Parker going to go through the middle, slider line, up, grabs the cush, coming off turn number 4. We'll look back at that 2nd place running 13 of Kyle Parker as we take a look at the lap times here. Last 3 laps, Kyle Parker has been quicker than your race leader. He's cut the lead down under half a second. Right there at a half of a second as they come off turn number 4. Now down to 0.4 when they get to turn number 1. And for the 4th consecutive lap, Kyle Parker is quicker, that time by a full 1/10. They'll come to 5 laps to go. 0.4 the interval. Again, Kyle Parker is quicker, 0.07 of a second that time. Does he have time? Oh, Kyle Parker into the wall on the back straightaway, and that's going to slow his advance. Now, does he have the time? 0.8 of a second is the difference. 4 laps to go. Math tells you he needs to make up 0.2 a lap, and the yellow is out. Forget the math. Forget it. We're going to stack them up for a dash here tonight, and there's the trouble in turn number 4 involving the 54 of Steve Shaw Sr., who's going to back on out of there. Also looked like G.J. Boydell, part of the incident down in turn number 4. And, ooh, boy. Wow, that changes it. Changes everything. Connor Ross, Kyle Parker ready to battle it out. And, you know, if I'm Nicholas Vickery or Steven Spies, I'm going to be right there ready to pounce. Those top two, they throw one of those big slide jobs where they slow each other's momentum. They've got an opportunity right here. Swoop in these final laps and steal the thunder. Yeah, as my producer Ryan says, the Thursday Night Thunder. See what I did there? See, Ryan, I work with words. You see? That's a little bit of what I do here. You can check out Ryan Dugan's work and head over to AdvantageRacing.tv. They'll be live tomorrow night, Rapid Speedway, Rock Rapids, Iowa. 305 sprint cars, USRA stock cars, USRA B modifieds, USRA hobby stock, sportsman stock cars. That's tomorrow night live at AdvantageRacing.tv. You can check out their entire schedule, where they'll be going, and see races on demand where they've been. It's all online, AdvantageRacing.tv. Here the driver's kicking them into neutral, clearing the carbs, revving them up, and we are ready. Dropping the right foot off of turn number 4. Connor Ross, Kyle Parker, Nicholas Vickery, Steven Spies, Jeffrey Barker, the top 5. 3 green flag laps. Oh, slow pace there from Connor Ross. He was trying to bog him down. It doesn't work. Kyle Parker's right there with him as I head through turn 1 and 2 for the first time. Back under the green. 2.5 laps to go. 0.3 of a second separating the top 2. Connor Ross, Kyle Parker off of turn 4. 2 laps to go. Great lap there for Connor Ross. He's pulled it out to a half second. Into turn 3. We will work to the white flag. Vickery still 3rd. Spies in 4th. Chapman completing your top 5. Final time. Connor Ross and Kyle Parker. Nicholas Vickery ready to strike down the backstretch. The last time into turn number 3. Ross going to go in on the top. Here comes Parker diving to the bottom, sliding up. He's not going to get there. And Connor Ross is going to go back-to-back on Thursday Night Thunder, sweeping the 358s and the big blocks. Kyle Parker crosses just behind him in 2nd. Nicholas Vickery in 3rd. Steven Spies from the B main gains 9 spots to finish 4th. And Patrick Maltese comes on late in that one. He gained 6 spots and finished in position number 5. Connor Ross going to immediately take that 35 car up on the stage here at the Eldora Speedway, where he deserves to celebrate this one, as we take a look here at your unofficial finish tonight from the Eldora Speedway. Your winner, that is Connor Ross. The number 35 machine, Kyle Parker, finishes in 2nd. Nicholas Vickery 3rd. Steven Spies 4th. And Patrick Maltese 5th. Mentioning Steven Spies gaining the 9 positions, he will be your Cool Rays hard charger here tonight with that 55. Jeffrey Barker was 6th. Tom Gomes 7th. Troy Stewart 8th. Zach Chapman 9th. And Andrew Smith completing the top 10. Bam Bam Major coming back to finish 11th. Tom Taylor was 12th. Steve Shaw Sr. 13th. Stephen Bixler 14th. And Jeffrey Kemper 15th. G.J. Boydell 16th. And John Hine 17th, with Donald Dory in the 18th spot. And trouble struck late in that race. Justin Sick crossed the line in 19th here tonight. So that is a big change for the running order here, and potential point implications on that one as well. We'll talk more about that next week. Right now, we need to focus on this event that just was. Nicholas Vickery, one of the drivers heading to the Epsilon Sprint Wraps podium presentation, and Nicholas Vickery, the 00 machine. Solid run here tonight. You really were able to really keep pace there early on with the 35 of Connor Ross.
Yeah, a couple of those cautions after that first caution, actually, right before it come out, I was thinking to myself, man, I'm at that distance where I could probably get away with a slider, in the next lap or two. But then that caution come out, and then the next green flag run we had, I got into the wall, and he kind of pulled away, and I just couldn't catch him. And then, later on in the race, Kyle come up on, behind me, and I could tell that I was holding him up a little bit. Me and him being teammates. He threw a slider, and I checked up and just let him do his thing. He was definitely a little faster than I was. So
you talked about that one little touch of the concrete. I mean, Eldora is so much momentum, right?
Yeah, and it's so unforgiving because on the backstretch the wall juts out a little bit getting into 3. And if you don't, if you make contact with it, it messes up your entire corner. So
talk about this event tonight and how the track changed from the beginning, because I was going absolutely here early on, and it was all behind you, but they were running every inch of that racetrack forward at times.
Yeah. In the heat races, or let me back up a little bit. In qualifying, I didn't qualify very good at all. They invert the top 4, and I qualified 5th in my heat. So I didn't qualify very well, but got a good finish in the heat race. And then as the heat races progressed, you kind of saw the line creeping higher and higher. And if we had ran in that the full 5-minute warm up, I would imagine the middle or the bottom probably would have come back in because the top in 3 and 4 was a lot thinner than in 1 and 2. So if you didn't hit 3 and 4 right, you were going to make contact with the wall pretty hard.
Tough competition out here with these big blocks. Getting on the podium is not an easy task. Who do you need to thank for helping you get here tonight?
Yeah, first is Spartan Racing. Me and Kyle Parker started that team a while back, and we're doing pretty good. We've had some good showings. VMR Wraps. That's another group of guys that we're working together to put some wraps together for everybody. Mirror Image Auto Spa, and my wife for letting me do this, and you guys for putting on a great show for everybody.
I've said it once, I'll say it again. Always thank the wife or girlfriend. Nicholas Vickery, congratulations for the 3rd place run here tonight.
All right, thanks, guys.
Nicholas Vickery parks the 00 in the 2nd spot just in front of him. That was the driver of the 013, and that's Kyle Parker. Kyle coming home in that 2nd position tonight. Nice charge through the field, gaining 4 spots to get up there and place in position number 2.
Thank you, sir. Felt good. I ran the 2 o'clock matinee race GForce holds together, and I won that. So in the beginning of the big block, I knew it was gonna be a little bit different, and it was. I was definitely closing in on Connor. And I think I just got a little too excited and got out of my rhythm, and I kept hitting the wall coming out of turn 2, and it definitely slowed my momentum. I wanted to throw a slider, and every time I wanted to, I hit the wall. I'm like, dang it, man, my plan's not working. But it was a good run.
It looked like you were really making an effort when you would come in on the top side of the speedway. Particularly, I could see it in turn 3. It looked like you were really efforting the car to keep the thing straight. Was that the case?
Absolutely. Especially at Eldora, any of these tracks, that are typically the high side, and then once that, the groove gets way up there to a point where you have to keep it straight, from getting into the wall. And plus, it's actually faster. I find it faster. The straighter the car up there, the better. It just seems like it just smooths, right through that groove. So yeah. I wish I won it, man, but I'll take a second. It's a good points night.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. We are in week 7 here. How much are you looking at the points? And it looked like Justin had a tough break here late and crossed 19th. So are you looking at points coming into this? Or are you looking at points throughout the night? What's the mindset right now?
When in the beginning of the season, you want to finish, up towards the front, but you don't really start paying attention to its points until you get about halfway. And tonight, I just kept telling my teammates, I'm like, I'm just gonna where I know I had a knee to well. I said I just got to try to finish up to the top 4 to get into the feature. And I said, wherever I finish, I finish. I said it's just got to be in front of Justin. And it's unfortunate, that I don't know what happened to him, but I saw on the relative that he disappeared on the relative. And then I saw at the end of the race, I think he finished like 19th with a couple laps down. So it sucks for him. It really does. I feel bad for him, but good points night for me. I gained a little bit. So yeah, definitely good points night, man. And we got 2 teammates sitting 2nd and 3rd right now. So that's huge.
Very good night for you guys. Who else do you need to thank parking her in the podium tonight?
Oh, as always, got to thank Spartan Racing, man. Those guys are the best teammates I could ask for. Kingsley Heating and AC, Turn 5 Media, Diggs Race Setups, VMR Wraps for the paint, and then you guys for the broadcast, man. You guys killed every single time. And then GForce putting this all together.
Sounds good. Kyle Parker, your runner-up tonight. Congratulations.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You as well. Kyle Parker going to go home second after tonight's racing action here at the Eldora Speedway, and that means we can move up here, and we're going to talk to tonight's feature event winner, Connor Ross. It's not nice. You're always told at a young age you need to share. You didn't share any of the winner's spoils tonight. You kind of swept the thing.
Yeah, no. Coming in tonight, I knew that I was going to have a good shot at the small block race, and I got that done. Came in here and got the invert down to a pat, started pulling. I didn't drive away in it, but I won it, so that was a lot easier than, say, starting fourth or something. But I was just on top of it all night. But man, this is awesome.
When you started the night and you got that first win, does it give you kind of the confidence boost, or does it take like the worries off of your back of needing another good show? What's it like after you win that 358 race and you roll into these big blocks?
Well, it's almost like it takes weight off your shoulders, but then you remember it's like you just won a race, so now it's kind of, is it a fluke, or can you show that you can actually do it again? And I did it again.
That race earlier tonight, you and Steven Goldner, the last lap slide job. Kind of tell us about that one. It was really unfortunate our viewers didn't get to watch those closing laps. That was wild.
Wait, when you're racing Steven Goldner, it's always a good night. But no, I knew that he's going to give me a slide job in 3 and 4, just how close he was. And I was just able to drive under it and take advantage of him sliding up. And I think if he didn't slide up as much as he did, I think he would have had the win, but he just slid up enough where I was able to capitalize on that and drive right under him.
And then this feature event here tonight, they used every inch of the racetrack behind you, but you were very faithful to the high side. It just seemed like your car was hooked up there, and it didn't look like you even thought about changing lines for a second.
Oh, you're right. I was just up on the high side, as you said, and I just felt most comfortable there, as much as there was barely any grip left on there, but I ran it for 30 laps straight. So, I was in the Discord and I was talking to my teammates and asked if they were running the bottom, but I just was not comfortable. Even though it looked like it was fast, I just didn't want to go down there and have either Nicholas or Kyle just pass me on the outside.
Well, you come here to Eldora. It's not an easy track to run around the high side. And, in feature action, I think you did 60 flawless laps tonight, and you're going to collect 2 trophies for it. Who else do you need to thank to get you to this spot tonight?
I got to thank my real-life supporters on my race car, Burger Barn, Retail Design Group, and then on the iRacing side, John Hine from Gambler Motorsports, all the guys back at Gambler Motorsports, Epsilon Sprint Wraps. I know I didn't have my paint. We're working on one here, so hopefully we can get it done in the upcoming weeks. You guys for putting the broadcast on, GForce, Roger Craig for putting all this together.
All right. Connor Ross, 2 for 2 tonight. Congratulations.
Have a good night, guys.
You as well. We're not going to have nearly as good of a night as Connor Ross has had tonight, but we will have a very good night indeed. That's going to do it for us here from the Eldora Speedway. What a night. Connor Ross picks up the win. Steven Spies picks up the Cool Rays Hard Charger Award. Kyle Parker and Nicholas Vickery also on the podium this evening. That'll wrap up the racing action from Eldora with the big blocks. Of course, tomorrow night, the VMR Wraps Pro Late Models. They'll be in action 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, live on GeForce Esports. We're back around with the SBGC 3D Printing Renegades 360 Sprints on Monday night here on GeForce TV as well. Of course, next week, the Renegades and these big blocks, they'll be heading out to Pennsylvania, to the Keystone State. We're heading to Williams Grove Speedway for next week's action. For Ryan Dugan in the production truck and Scotty DeYoung, I'm Sean Neistat. Have a great evening wherever you are. If you're heading to the racetracks this weekend, enjoy it. We look forward to seeing you back here on GeForce TV once again real soon. Good night, everybody.